Hey, Web3 curious listeners. Today's episode was recorded live at ETH Denver 2025, where we caught up with some of the most forward-thinking minds building the next era of Web3. First, we sat down with Mann and Dean from RP1 to explore the launch of the world's first 3D browser, a scalable, seamless metaverse experience that brings the vision of a truly spatial internet to life. Next, we speak with Yumin Xia of Galxe, where he shares his experience on on-chain campaigns that led to the creation of GravityChain, a high-performance blockchain built for real-world scalability and seamless user experience. Finally, we close with Will Hennessy from Alchemy, who introduces their $5 million grant program and shows how account abstraction and rollups are unlocking one-click gasless onboarding for the next wave of crypto users. All that and more. Time to cue the intro.
Welcome to The Edge of Show, your gateway to the Web3 revolution. We explore the cutting edge of blockchain, cryptocurrency, NFTs, ordinals, DeFi, gaming, and entertainment, plus how AI is reshaping our digital future. Join us as we bring you visionaries and disruptors pushing boundaries in this digital renaissance. This show is for the dreamers, disruptors, and doers that are pumped about where innovation meets culture. This is where the future begins.
Hey everybody, Richard here from The Edge of Company with The Edge of Show. We are live here at ETH Denver, and we have some very special friends with us over at RP1. We have Sean and Dean with us. Pleasure to have you both. Now, obviously, we are here, and one of the talking points of crypto is Web3. And as you think about, like, what does it mean to be in the website space? But y'all are doing a very different approach that has a lot of people perking up their ears. So tell us a little bit about that.
Well, first of all, thank you, Richard, for having us. This is so much fun. Obviously, being in Denver with the entire the community, the excitement, you can feel it. Like, yeah, it's everyone is really figuring out what the future is. What we've done is we're launching the world's first 3D browser.
Wow.
So think about the parallel to what Chrome does for us for 2D websites. Right. We're setting the standards and the view of how a 3D browser will work with one of the with absolutely amazing technology that can scale to the world's population in a single, endless world and whatnot. And so it's really powerful in what we're developing, and we really want to introduce it to the community. We're getting pretty darn close to launching.
You are, and I know it's been received really well. So, Sean, like as you continue to talk about this and think about Dean's been coaching you up pretty well on this, but Dean, a lot of this has been originating for a long time. So how did you go from that vision to where things are now, where you're getting ready to launch?
The technology has been built up over the last 10 to 20 years, depending on where it started. During the pandemic, I put on my first VR headset.
Yeah.
And we discovered that some of the technology we had built early from the poker days actually translated quite well just to the scalability aspect. So we started building up our technology stack to be general purpose, and it's evolved into a very, very, very massive ecosystem where we can handle 200 to 500 times more scalability than any other system that we're aware of, and also operate at similar cost efficiencies as well. So it's been a long journey. Last 4 years, we've been focused exclusively on building up the browser and the concepts behind what it's going to take to launch a 3D browser.
When Dean approached me and I learned a lot about his technology, and he's been brainchildy for a long time. When the idea of the metaverse came out, everyone was thinking about this single, persistent, both AR and virtual world where we're all connected seamlessly, right? We can teleport anywhere, easily talk with each other. But then everyone's like, well, wait a minute. We can only put 20 people in VR in a single box. That vision's 30 years away. Mm-hmm. And when I realized what he has actually developed, he looked at software radically different and fundamentally changed the way we program networking and distribution models, which allowed scale that is just not considered possible. And so we're proving that through our demos, but more importantly, we're enabling this grand vision of the Oasis, but more importantly, basically the spatial internet where we can seamlessly connect with each other in 3D ways.
And that's really exciting. And I remember that just from what y'all shown me so far, what it's coming is mind-blowing. But what I think even more so what's coming is what people are able to come and participate with. So I know you have some amazing announcements coming along that side. So can you speak a little bit more to it?
Yeah. So we're coming up with a global open demo. And so we've been, working, builders build, right? And so now once you build, you're excited to share and welcome people into your house. And we're basically getting to the point where we're going to launch a global demo. We actually have a digital twin of our entire universe, including Earth 1-to-1 scale. Wow. And so imagine you click one button from any device, mobile, desktop, VR headsets, and you will instantly go enrolled and connect with anyone that's inside the browser. And it's an endless space. There's no downloading boxes. There's no installations. You are literally instantly in there, just like you instantly go to a website.
Yeah.
And so we're talking about the Netflix of real-time applications. So now, I mean, we've been brought up and going to app stores, right? The Apple App Store takes your 30%. Developers have a hard time. There's algorithms. And now a consumer, to get to your content, has to download something, install it, create an account, create an avatar. We're talking about press a button and you are instantly at any location built by anyone, whether it's a game, an MMO, or a digital twin of a university, or doing a business meeting in some type of conference room. It really solves all those things in a single ecosystem.
So it's really exciting. Go ahead.
It's important to note that, like the Chrome browser or any 2D web browser, the browser is just a portal into the World Wide Web. So the metaverse browser is a portal into the metaverse, but does not get in the middle of the transaction between the third-party service provider and the customer. So we're not asking everyone to build inside of RP1. We're trying to set the standard so that people can build on something like HTML and create a web document that can be picked up by a web browser. Same thing, you'd be able to build a 3D spatial component that could be picked up by a metaverse browser, whether we built it or someone else builds it. But it's still the third-party service provider still owns the data. They still serve up the data from their own servers. They maintain everything. They maintain their own security, and they are one-to-one in contact with their customer. It's just a matter of arranging everything spatially and handling the scale and the load. That is what we provide.
Which is, I don't want to say an impossible task, but a tall task that y'all found a way to get done, and which is why it's perked up a lot of ears while you've been here. So again, we are at ETH Denver. There's a ton of people here, a ton of different companies, a lot of different types of people that you could be working with, between your end consumer that might want to be on here using it to your builder that would want to come out. So how's the experience been so far, and why you've been out here? What are some of the things that you've been specifically focused on?
Well, it's funny. You always say utility, utility, utility. I think that should be like the framework of ETH Denver, is how do you take this amazing blockchain-like technology and use it to better the world versus just use it for the heck of it, right? Like everyone's like, hey, let's just use it. But people are like, why? Like it just makes it harder. It's harder for consumers to get into it. But the browser presents amazing Web3 opportunities. And I think one, which is obvious, is payments, right? How does someone seamlessly transact with someone all over the world? And I think that's one of the biggest use cases that we see, like with stable coins, that people seamlessly can transact without having to go through fiat or banking systems that make it really, really hard to make those transactions happen. So that was the first obvious, choice. And we're going to be launching a token that inherently is going to help that process. But even though we're launching a token, you'll be able to connect any, cryptocurrency into the browser, because it should be an open ecosystem where anyone can participate. But I think the most powerful, and I think Dean and I were talking about this earlier, is the idea of identity. And if you want to, you're more than welcome to speak about it.
Identity can be handled in a blockchain and keep your personal information belonging to you. So right now, if you go into a platform like TikTok or YouTube or Facebook, and the platform owns your content, they own your blog, your stream. And if you get deplatformed or something happens to your account, they own it. You lose it. So logging in with your own identity, managed by blockchain, you can manage your personas. You can keep your identity private. You can keep your personas separated so that you can't piece together your personal life with your private or your work life and your private personal life. And you can handle your data. You can publish the equivalent of a blog or a stream into your identity, and then you can publish that or syndicate it onto future blogs or future equivalents of social media sites.
Yeah,
that way you can't be deplatformed.
And I think what's exciting about the identity piece and the extensibility of what a browser brings to this entire community is anyone could build an avatar company. That means anyone could build assets. And the question is, as a consumer, how do I manage those different avatars and those different assets? And when Dean mentions persona, you're going to want to be different people depending on the different things that you do, right? So if I go to work, I'm going to be Sean Mann, CEO of RP1, right? And founder. But if I'm now going to go play with my kids, I might be Super Daddy, or, some people may think this is kind of weird, but if you want adult content, you may want to be something different that's not associated. And you don't want a company to manage that data that you need to trust. What if blockchain can do that extremely well, where you separate that? But the thing is, it's not about just one identity component. I'm hopeful that many people will build identity components, and consumers can choose which ones has the features and the ability and the things that I trust that will manage my interactions for the rest of my life in the metaverse.
Yeah. Yeah, the concept of digital identity and being very different. There's different types of personalities that we all have in our own ways, and you're allowing people to bring their own creativity and own individualism to use it on top of your platform. So super exciting for people who want to go and learn more about RP1 and get involved. What can they do?
Yeah. So a couple ways. You can go to rp1.com. I suggest you can go to the learn to learn all about what our technologies are, what the browser is going to do. You can scroll down and join our Discord. On our Discord, we actually have an ETH Denver special, Richard.
Okay.
All right. We are inviting everyone into an ETH Denver after party in the metaverse. And I'm talking about hundreds, if not thousands of people if they show up. A week from today, anyone with any device can show up at the time that we put on our Discord. We'll have a special link there. They can click that link and they will instantly be able to join us in world. In fact, we are on the ETH Denver event page for an after party. So if you go to the ETH Denver events, you look for RP1, you'll be able to sign up for that after party. You'll get a special link and anyone in the world can come with a VR. I do suggest, please, come in VR if you do have VR. It is a reason to dust off that VR headset. We're going to show you why you'll no longer dust it off because you'll be using it more often because you'll literally be able to relive things that you can do in the real world. More importantly, connect with anyone seamlessly. And so come in VR if you can. If not, you can have a laptop, desktop, come into a regular Chrome browser. And you'll be able to put that link in, and you'll instantly be able to go in world, and you'll be able to traverse literally a digital twin. We have a handful of locations. I mean, Earth is massive.
Yeah.
So I promise you it's not all fulfilled, but we have a handful of locations. And get this, you'll be able to fly straight up in the sky to the moon, look down at Earth spinning. It is absolutely the most amazing thing you've ever seen. So we're inviting everyone in Denver to come join us, and hopefully we'll get you in there as well.
It's March 6th, 9 a.m. Pacific time.
Yeah. Yep. So a week from today, 9 a.m. Pacific time.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Thanks again for both you, Sean and being part of this. And of course, everyone listening, we're going to have more amazing stuff coming out, so be on the lookout.
Only on the Edge of Show, right?
That's right.
Hey listeners, are you ready to amplify your voice in a digital world? Introducing .podcast domains, your gateway to the future of online identity. Whether you're a creator, a company, or just someone with big ideas, .podcast is for you. Own your unique digital identity, connect securely, and explore hundreds of apps with no renewal fees. Don't wait for someone else to claim your name. Secure your .podcast domain today and be part of the next generation of content creation. Visit get.unstoppabledomains.com/podcast to get started. Again, that's get.unstoppabledomains.com/podcast. Your voice, your rules, your identity.
Hi, everyone. Josh Krieger, co-host of The Edge of Show, live at ETH Denver 2025. And I'm here with actually a company we've had on the show before, but we haven't talked to Yumin Xia, who's the co-founder and CTO before. So welcome to The Edge of Show.
Nice to meet you.
So back when we were at Edge of NFT, we got to know you guys for your reward platform,
Yes.
which has been pretty viral over the last several years, correct? So you guys have run a lot of contests. We'll go into what you're doing now, but I'd love to sort of just reflect back. Give me a sense of the magnitude of what you've done on chain with these different contests. And what you've learned about our consumers from doing all these contests.
All right. So Galxe today has like 100 daily active users. I would say like the spectrum of users is very huge. So I see users, some of them basically use Galxe as a learning platform that when they first enter Web3, they use that to learn all about this project by reading their like campaign description and doing those tasks. And then they basically follow the guide to do on-chain transactions like DeFi, swap, and that. And then some of them we might get airdrop rewards in the end because of like they are the angel user of some early stage product that makes their way.
Yeah. So, so the criticism of that type of contest gamification has been people that participate in airdrops don't stick around. Have you seen that to be the case, or is there evidence that there are ways to get them to stick around?
Yeah. So I think there's kind of like two sides of this problem. So first of all, will users stay with the product? I think it's more like the issue with their own product. Of course, like I have tried, for example, some swaps in our platform, and I love it. And I stay there. Still use that product every day. And it's not because like Galxe is like the gateway, like introduce you to all these amazing projects. Will users stay there after airdrop? Well, that depends on where user needs you every day. So the criticism is, well, there's a large portion of users that basically farm airdrops, right?
Right.
Well, that's true. I mean, like, it's unfortunately become a profitable business in this industry. We have launched a lot of mechanisms to prevent those kind of like botting behaviors already.
Yeah.
Like Galaxy Passport, Web3 Score, and we are introducing also the new reward system that kind of like reward our loyalty users in some of those spots already. We've already seen some improvements on this front.
That's great.
But still, I think it's we will do our best to preventing bots to like kind of like damage the ecosystem. But whether user will stay in the end, it depends on whether user need it or love the app.
You can lead them to water, but you can't force them to drink.
Yes.
Makes sense. So before we move on to what you guys are up to, one last question is any best practices for companies, L1s, L2s, dApps that are trying to use a product like Galaxy to increase community building? When should you do it? How often should you do it? Like, what is sort of the recipe for success with, rewards in gamification based on all the best practices you've accumulated over these contests?
Got it. That's actually a very complicated question, but my take is that you should always start as early as possible. You don't have to have a product that user can try to use it. You can start with your social media, your content, and you're starting a space with us, and your user can starting to get to know who you are and get to know the vibe. And you can start to build your community on Discord, on Twitter. And then when your product launch, you should be actually launching a lot of very gamified and fun-driven tasks that user uses as a learning opportunity and also the opportunity to explore what your apps can offer.
Makes sense. So we take all these lessons learned, all this experience, all these users, and ultimately that led you down a path towards deciding to formulate a new blockchain.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about the genesis and where you're at in the process.
Yes. So initially, because Galaxy has integrated 70 different blockchains, we as a kind of like the first-hand experience. We know first-hand experience.
70.
Yeah, 70.
I've heard about a lot of integration and interoperability, but that is a lot of blockchains.
We have
Because everyone comes to you first, right?
Yes. We have 70 different blockchains and I countless wallet integrations. And
how do you sleep?
it's actually a hard job, harder than other people think that Galaxy's technical challenges.
Wow.
Yeah. So we actually we see user has a huge experience issue with interacting with different blockchains, right? Let's say there's a new blockchain. So that's an interesting app you want to try. Then you need to bridge your token from this blockchain to that blockchain. I need to figure out which bridge you want to use. And all this kind of stuff that take like 20 or 30 minutes.
But the bridges have gotten better. There's more like this cosmic or atomic swapping now, right? Which is exciting. But
yeah.
There's still challenges there.
Yes.
Because they don't work with every blockchain.
Yes, exactly. So that's what's driven us thinking like, we want to build a blockchain that kind of like solve this kind of problem. So initially, we want GravityChain to be a settlement layer for most of its blockchains. It's not like we're a competitor with them. We want to be like kind of like the gateway. The user can interact with your chain through our chain through bridges. So bridges will work with us through other bridge protocols. So that's our initial goal. And while we're doing this, one thing interesting we found is that we actually I have personally like been building a blockchain since like 2017. The tech stack has not changed that much. Like a lot of projects you see today will basically launch a blockchain with Cosmos SDK and Tendermint. Well, honestly, that's not state of the art. So we see the opportunity here that imagine like 5 years ago, all these there will be more blockchains in the world. I believe that. What kind of tech do you want them to be built on? We see the opportunity that let's actually build a blockchain, and not only a blockchain, but a blockchain SDK that enables the whole industry to use the state-of-the-art consensus algorithm, parallelized execution to build their own blockchain, to decentralize everything that could be decentralized. So that's what we're up to. Right now, we already open source. Our DevNet is up and running, the GravityChain. It's actually, we adopt kind of like we call it a pragmatic innovation approach that we leverage open source components as much as possible. Like for consensus, we proudly use Aptos BFT as they are the state of the art. For parallel execution, we did some innovation, but the algorithm was based on the block STM. We have published technical report and papers illustrating why our performance is better in some cases. And we are actually publishing all this as open source components. So today, let's say you want to launch a blockchain that has the same performance as Monad, for example. You can do that for free.
Wow. So what's the revenue model for Galxe?
Well, Galxe as an application, our revenue model is coming from integrations like all these blockchains, and also coming from like premium support for our customers, those like Web3 apps, and also from our end user. We have Galxe Plus, which is a subscription-based model, like to basically give you gasless experience on Galxe.
So the GravityChain is not changing the fundamental monetization model of the company. It's just amplifying your ability to support the ecosystem.
Exactly.
Very cool. So just random question. Over under, how many blockchains do you think that you'll have integrated into Galxe by the end of this year and the end of next year? And I'll play the game with you. We'll see who's right later.
Well, this is hard. I would guess like 90.
90 this year?
Yeah.
By the end of next year?
Well, maybe 120.
Okay.
I'm actually predicting, like 30 every year, like a state.
So that's what you've done in the past, approximately?
Yes. All right. I won't be surprised if it's lower, because last year was like kind of the boom year for layer 2s.
Yeah, I'm thinking that it's going to slow down a little bit, and that there's going to be some market domination going on. So maybe we'll say 85 this upcoming year, and then next year maybe 130. So we'll see. We'll have to see who's
I
right.
thought you were gonna say like 89.
No, that's mean. That's just mean. No, we'll give you a little room there to win this contest. I did get the advantage of going second, but you have the advantage of having all that historical data, so I think it's fair. Well, thanks for hanging out. It's great to get to know you more. Anything else in closing thoughts you want to share about what you're doing with Galxe or Gravity?
Yeah. We're kind of like the DeepSeek of the blockchain. That's what I want to say. Like, I know a lot of projects building high performance EVM chains that raise a lot of money. They have very good community. I really respect. I love that. But if you from today on, you want to build a high performance blockchain, I just want to say you don't need that much money. With Gravity SDK and with a whole ecosystem we're building together, we can make this world much better place by having high performance blockchains to decentralize a lot of things that you could imagine to decentralize.
Yeah, I think one of the challenges you're alluding to there is the talent pool for development gets scarcer and scarcer with more blockchains. Everyone's competing in the same resources. Yeah. That raises across the building these chains, right? Yeah. Not to mention the technical sophistication. So, saving us a little bit money, maybe you can spend it more on those community rewards, marketing, and partnerships, which is really valuable to hopefully elevate the industry. So
airdrop your users.
Airdrop
your community.
Absolutely. Thanks for shedding some light on some areas we haven't covered in the show, and really excited about what you guys are doing. We'll have to chat more about how we can collaborate. For those interested in learning more about what you guys are up to, where should they go?
Gravity website. And also maybe you can follow.
What's the website?
Gravity.xyz.
Okay.
And you can also follow our technical Twitter. It's called Gravity Inter.
Cool. And what's your X handle?
I mostly post through Gravity Inter.
Okay. So your pseudonym. And well, very cool. Thanks for hanging out with us today.
Same pleasure having me.
Let's take a pause to shout out one of our favorite partners. For tech innovators facing legal challenges, Zuba Lawler is your go-to law firm. They focus on understanding your technology and business model before addressing legal requirements. Specializing in blockchain, AI, VR, AR, quantum computing, and more, Zuba Lawler offers expert guidance in capital raising, IP transactions, M&A, litigation, and compliance. Visit zuberlawler.com, that's ZUBERLAWLER.com, for cutting-edge legal solutions.
Hey everyone, Richard Carthon here from the Edge of Show, and I am here with Will Hennessy. He is a product manager at Alchemy. He's a leading blockchain development platform, but focusing on account abstraction, simplifying Web3 user experiences by addressing complexities like seed phrases and gas costs. You have a background from University of Illinois, and you also have experience with Google and Uniswap Labs. And your work includes developing tools like Account Kit and embedded accounts, which is all about onboarding and getting other people like social login and batch transactions. So you have a really robust background. We're glad to have you here. And I want to dive into first. You had a really Alchemy had a really big announcement that happened while out here. Can you first tell us a little bit about that?
Absolutely, and it's great to be here. Thank you for having me. Yeah, this week we announced Everyone on Chain Flight, which is a $5 million initiative from Alchemy to help builders bring new users into, specifically designed to bring in mainstream users into crypto. We've all been building for so many years here at Web3. So we're deploying these $5 million as grants to developers, specifically to help them use Rollups and account abstraction to bring new people on chain. These are two new trends I'd love to talk to you more about today that are designed at making crypto invisible, making it so easy that anyone can use it.
Yeah, no, you're actually doing that, and I definitely want to dive into more of it. I actually want to start with a fun fact. 80% of basically all of the Ethereum accounts run through Alchemy, so you're very embedded with here we are at ETH Ethereum, but it's more than just Ethereum. It's a lot going on, but you talked about the simplicities and making that more available. So the fact that you have now a fund where people can go and like focus on making that even more seamless throughout is very synergistic with your overall goal. So tell us a little bit more about like who should be applying to this, how can they get involved, and what are some steps that they can start taking?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the best way to explain that is to start with the problem all builders facing in this ecosystem for so long, and that is the user experience around crypto onboarding.
Yeah.
Right? When I first got into crypto 5 years ago, I had to download an external wallet extension with MetaMask, write down my seed phrase, put it in my sock drawer, go through KYC, buy Ethereum, transfer it into wallet. The UX is really hard. So I've been actually working on wallets for 5 years. I helped build the Uniswap wallet back at Uniswap, and we made a lot of advances on the design front, but many of those existing crypto frictions still exist. But this year, that's changing in a big way for the crypto key. Account abstraction has removed the need for seed phrases and even for gas fees, with new features like gas sponsorship, where developers can now pay gas on behalf of their users. This allows builders to make experiences that truly feel like one club.
Yeah.
And like you mentioned, we are powering, I think, 80% of contract accounts on chain right now. We've helped teams like Azuki onboard over 3 million users to smart contract.
Wow.
Yeah. And sponsor gas so that when you, for example, check out the enemy.com, which is built by the Azuki team, you can't even tell that it says crypto. You log in with an email, you press one button, and it will collect a sticker. Now, under the hood, that's minting an NFT, but as a user, you don't even know because they're using account abstraction to sponsor this. And that's where the fund this week comes to. Builders need help to sponsor this. And so we deployed a $5 million grant that is designed to help you, the builders, sponsor gas in order to remove that friction from new users.
That's incredible. The fact that you can literally get rid of some of the initial hurdles of bringing somebody else on. Like you were saying, when a lot of people first came into this space and they had to, set up their wallet and then understand Ethereum so they could pay for gas and then do that thing. They just want to press a button. They're used to 3 clicks, they're done. And this is allowing for that to happen in a very seamless way. So for people that want to come and build on that, aside of this incredible fun that you have going on, there's a lot more that Alchemy has been up to. So tell us a little bit about that and some of the plans that are coming up in 2025.
Yeah, absolutely. The other big work stream we've been building at Alchemy is Rollups as a service. I think it's no secret, it's a big topic of the conference this week, that everyone's building their own rollup.
Yes.
We already have layer 1s, we have layer 2s, and now with Rollup as a service technology, teams are able to build their own layer 2 or layer. And Alchemy has the best-in-class service to run your own rollup with high reliability, scalability, so that your chain always works. It's always reliable for TCs. And that's another component of this EU system. Part of this $5 million grant is also allocated for rollup builders to help you get off the ground, kick off your own rollup, onboard a bunch of users to it using smart wallets to create your own thriving EU system. We're quickly moving from a world of
in 10 or 20 blockchains to hundreds of rollups. And it's a very exciting time for builders.
It is a really exciting time. And as you were saying, there's so many new projects coming all the time. And one of the challenges with developers deciding where they're going to build, and then also figuring out, okay, well, how do you also find a way to be cross-chain and to deal with all these different things? And rollups are a great way to address this issue. And so you're directly going after it and accomplishing that. So, as you're here at ETH Denver, there's a lot of people walking around. You have a really good vibe of, between builders, devs, people that are just excited to learn about the space. Why did you choose, or did Alchemy choose to be here and be part of this? And how has it been received so far?
Great question. We come to ETH Denver every single year because it's one of the best build conferences. And as a leading developer platform, this is the place to be, right? This is where we live. And it's so fun to walk around the conference because we've seen hundreds of developers that we actually work with every single day.
Yeah.
At Alchemy. It's an amazing time to see them in real life. And it's a great place also to talk about what developers can be building this year. How can they take advantage of some of the latest advancements that have come out in the rollup space, in account abstraction, and other technologies to build the next great application. And so already this week, I've had so many fun conversations with builders who are talking about building a next generation mainstream crypto app. And the secret recipe for doing that is to ship your own rollup with ultra low gas, super fast block times, powered by Alchemy with high reliability, and make the user experience completely seamless. Like you said, just 3 clicks, sign up with an email, click a button, and we're on chain.
I love it. The simplicity is great. Being able to meet people IRL is always incredible. A lot of people potentially hide behind PFPs, and you have so many interactions, and crypto is very distributed. So you might be meeting team members from all over the world at this one place. So, but then also being able to have people come in and be curious and want to learn more, and then also give them away. They're like, hey, by the way, if you really want to build this, we got this grant going on, and be able to package that all together at this event is really incredible. So for anyone who's listening to this, and this is like, oh yeah, I want to learn more, I want to go get involved. Where can they go?
I think the number one place would be alchemy.com. There you'll find access to all the tools we just talked about to build an amazing mainstream crypto app, as well as the application form for our $5 million grant program. If you're listening and if you're a builder, I suggest you apply. We're giving out up to $25,000 in grants, including gas sponsorship credits for free gas in your application, as well as compute credits to use any of our Alchemy products, rollups, nodes, smart wallets.
Awesome. Well, y'all heard it here first. Make sure you go check out Alchemy. And Will, thank you for coming and being on the show.
Thank you for having me.
We've reached the outer limit at the edge of show for today. Thanks for exploring with us. We have room for more adventurers on our starship, so invite your friends and cool strangers to join our journey. If you're among the hundreds of thousands following us on Spotify, iTunes, iHeartRadio, or watching us on Myco or YouTube, please hit that subscribe button, rate us, and make an awesome comment too. And don't forget to pass this episode along to a friend or two who would benefit from it. Doubling back to again, recommend checking out myco.io, where you can watch The Edge of Show and earn for your time and attention. That's myco.io. Don't forget to visit theedgeofshow.com. The is part of the domain name, where you can learn more about collaborating with us and also subscribe to the Edge of Weekly newsletter for the latest Web3 news, events, and show drops. In addition, connect with us on all major social platforms by searching for The Edge of Show. Join the exciting conversations happening online. Lastly, be sure to tune in next time for more great Web3 and AI content. Until then, keep pushing the boundaries. Thanks again for hanging out with us today. The views and opinions expressed on The Edge of Show reflect solely those views and opinions of the show host and its guests. Please make sure to do your own research. Our show is not financial advice. You understand that you are using any and all information on or through this podcast at your own risk. Whenever making financial decisions, we recommend doing your own research and talking to your accountant for financial advice. From time to time, we may feature sponsored content on the show for which we receive value, and we may share links for which we receive a commission if you make a purchase through one of these links. Refer to our website, www.edgeofnft.com, for our full disclaimer, terms and conditions, and privacy policy.